This week I'll share a book with you, we'll go urban sketching, and we'll explore all the materials in my art haul from last week. I wanted to share with you this illustrator that I am in love with. Victoria, I'm not sure how you pronounce her last name, so I'm not even going to try, but I follow her on Instagram and I purchased her book, and I just love her line work in this boat, just that scribble, so playful, and the water and the way she's divided this. And look at her little people, just so fun. And look at her characters. I love how she's exaggerated these bodies. And look at the arch in his back. And all the little patterns. I love anything, I think, with a pattern. Like if you look close, the texture of this to me looks like oil pastel. And her lettering, and look how on some of her birds she's left not solid. It's just line work. And how she's created lines to represent the waves. Look at the little animals. And some of this looks like colored pencil, and then you've got the maybe watercolor. It's definitely mixed media. And look at the colors in the waves, how she's represented the water in all those fun colors. I'm going to be making a card this morning, so I just wanted some inspiration on childlike drawing to get me in the mood, I guess. Kind of like watching cooking shows before you have to cook. And I just love all of that. And then look at the little paper boat. So many great textures in this. I think you can see where she's scratched back into this ink or watercolor. Look at this character and how his little smoke is represented by these little dots. So that is this book. What I've been working on this morning, a little card for my dad. And those are his two little puppies, and that right there is, we have a bee tree on the farm, and it has all these bees in it, and it has a little duck pond, and then there's his donkey. And I took these images from photos that they had sent me, but when you close up the card, that will be the front, the little goat. And I practiced in my sketchbook the goats. And then here is the back of the card and the little mouse. I thought they turned out cute. It's hard to paint childlike. So what I would do is I would look at the image on the picture, and then I would close the picture, close the photo, and then try to sketch it from memory. And I think that did help. But anyway, so that's what I've been working on this morning. Just a fun little happy. And then back there they have like this little goat scratch pad that the little goats scratch their little faces on. Here are the supplies I used. I used those Neocolor 2s that I unboxed last week. And then some colored pencils. And I tried my ink brush. And that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed using my new supplies, and I am going to address my envelope and send this off. One thing I was going to share with you on these Neocolor 2s is that I went on to this was at the Franklin Market, the farmer's market, and this is all I had, so I just quickly sketched while I was there. This was only used with these, but that is a good exercise these are colors I would never choose for these settings, and to decide, okay, well, the chair is really green, so what do I have? What can I use to represent this chair? So I don't know, it was kind of it was an interesting exercise that you might want to try, because it's challenging, but it also comes with some different results than you might not normally have. Like here are some other pictures that I had of the farm, and this bulldozer is, I want to say it's yellow, but I did it in just these different colors. In keeping with the goat theme, I'm headed to the Fainting Goat coffee shop, but on the way I saw these beautiful flowers. There's so many of them, I had to take a picture. On the way home, I spotted these sculpted bikes. Isn't this amazing? He's an artist that lives in town and has these along his fence. That was so much fun at the Fainting Goat. So many people were doing their own thing. There was this one little girl, she was literally dancing, I think making TikTok videos in there. It's so funny just watching people. Everybody was just kind of doing their own thing. And then this is the painting at the Carter house. I actually went to the Carter house this past weekend and toured inside, but they won't let you videotape inside. And I get it, but most of the pictures of the Carter house I did find online, but I toured around the back, and it was very interesting. So the Fainting Goat is right across the street. And then I bought this mug while I was there because look at that color. I love this color. I thought, wouldn't that be fun to paint? Also, I'm guilty of buying things that I think will be fun to paint. I also bought this because, well, one, it's chocolate, And 2, look at the colors in that. That is definitely going to be fun to paint. Last week I showed you this little kit that I got of all these different inks, and I have some flowers that I'm gonna do some line work with this ink and see how it goes. So that was a lot of fun, but I wanted to see if this is the brush pens, and this is the page that we put the water on top of. But one thing is, once it's dry, it is dry. It doesn't bleed. Or you can't reactivate it, I guess is what I'm saying. So these two together could, I just think, make some interesting paintings. Like mixing both. I do like the watery lines mixed with the line work, the solid line work. I've ordered some Ecoline ink and some brush pen, the refillable brush pen, water brush pen set, a less expensive set to put some ink in. Just because going out, I think that would be convenient. Let me show you this that I just did. So I keep like a little tin of photographs that I can just grab, and I dipped into a brown and a yellow, And I guess because the brown and the yellow go in different ridges in this spiral, as you're drawing, it just depends on which ink flows out. But it started changing colors. And it's not a blind contour drawing, but it pretty much is one line drawing. Same with this. I dipped in a yellow and a green, and you can tell it turned into different shades of that green. Let me just get closer so you can see the change of the color. Isn't that the coolest thing? That is so much fun. Paul works in downtown Nashville, and he took this picture for me. He actually took a couple, and I printed this one out. And well, I printed two out. That's kind of funny. There we go. So I've been working on this, and I used I think I used everything that is new. So I did the gouache, and I did some of the neo pastels, and my ink pens, and my pencils, like everything I think I purchased, except for the little inks. I didn't use those. But I think I'm going to try this again, and let me show you what I just got. Because I love working with these so much, and really, I guess this is enough colors, but I got these. These just don't have much in it, and I can tell I am going to run through these pretty quick. So I got these, and then I just bought some cheap brush pen set. So, and then I'm going to try this one more time, because while I do like this, I didn't want it to be this tight. I wanted it to be more free flowing, and like you can see some of the texture. I do love that. Like I put the oil pastel down, and then I went back over it with gouache, and then I've used some of the colored pencils, and then I used like the ink tints pencil. I dipped it in water and then used it. And then I tried to keep with the theory, like warm at the top, and then going to a cooler shade at the bottom. So, oh, and then see my little cars. That's actually a bridge, but I don't know that it reads as a bridge. But I'm going to try it again in a looser fashion, and see if I can't capture something a little different. I just use the dropper, and I didn't dilute them. Maybe I should, but I didn't. And I put each color in each pen. And I'm going to use this watercolor paper, and this is my reference. We'll see how it goes. I think what I'm going to do is because I do want some of that bleeding, I'm going to spray it with water. that is kind of an abstract version of this, which is what I was kind of going for, just to see. This is the first one that I did. Is the second one. No, this is the third one I did. Just trying to do a loose abstract version, right? And then this is the second one I did, which I think has potential, but it's still so wet I can't do anything with it. And this is done with the inks. So 3 different versions of the same scene. It's 2:30 in the morning and I am packing because we're flying out tomorrow. But I can't stop thinking about my goat cup that we got yesterday. But look how cute this little bird is. Look at those little feet. I got a quick little sketch in this morning of my yellow mug, and then I've been working on what I'm taking with me. This time I'm not gonna take a lot of supplies. I'm just gonna take small supplies, but more sketchbooks. We'll see how that works. Do you remember last week we were talking about the prismatic color and the prism that she kept and started using? It's funny how when you put something in your life or you read something, you notice it in your life. Does that make sense? Anyway, let me end this video with this morning's view. It made me think of this. All right, I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next week.